Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to show you how you can make this connectivity image into a beautiful and smart looking infographic. You can also do that by using smart arts in the design and insert menu, but instead I will show you how you can make it manually because I think that this is more convenient and more easy to play with. So for that I'm just going to copy this sample image for my reference, and I'm going to copy this image into a separate slide, and you can see that there are different sections and they have connectivity. So instead of using arrows, I've just used small rectangular bars to represent those connections with each and every section in that diagram. So let's just move to the second slide and paste this image as a reference here. I will reduce its size so that I can have enough space for my work. Go to insert shapes and take a rounded rectangle and then make a small rectangular shape. After that, what you can do is you can type in the text inside, which is whatever text you have. So in this case we have perceive CSR and brand fit. So remember that in this case I've used different font instead of Calibri. So you can see that the size is 28 and the font type is Elahorny. So I'm just going to make it bold enough so that it's vibrant enough and also looks more elegant and more prominent instead of using typical fonts like Arial and Calibri. And so I tend to use this font for this case because it looks more better in this current situation. So I'm going to change its outline now, and after giving a fill I will change its outline and also the color of the text. Now in order to make this shape more prominent, just go to shape outline, give no outline, and shape effects, go to B level and choose the number 4 B level for this one. Now you can see that this shape looks more prominent and has some shadow and effect, and also gives a look like a 3D object. So now I'm going to format the background and change its color by just simply going to design menu. Now we are going to work on the other parts, which includes the segments, which is environmental concern, self-cause recognition, and I'm just comparing the size for this current object with the previous one, and I'm just trying to make it sure that they are same size for your reference. But in this case I'm going to provide the link for this file, so don't worry for that. And you can also choose the size of the shape or size of the box depending upon the area of information that you want, but make sure that you are consistent while doing with the other box. Now I will show what I mean by consistent. So for example, I'm going to add another segment or another step, which is self-cause integration as shown in this diagram. So I'm going to increase its width so that all the text is within the bounds. Now as you can see that this one is a little bit smaller than the previous one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it same as the one used in the slide, because I want the consistency to be consistent with all or throughout the slide. So now I'm going to reduce the height for this particular shape, the rounded rectangle. I tend to use this one because this is more better than using the one with the sharp edges, sharp corners. So this is one that I recommend and I also use for my diagrams because it looks gives a more softer look. So now you can see that I use this shape, and I'm going to repeat that by just Control Shift and dragging down and using the same image. I'm trying to make this shape within the equally having an equal distance from the top and the bottom. So now I'm going to give it this different color because I want to make sure that these are two different steps and two different sections. So that's why I'm giving them a different color. Now I'm going to add a small shape in which I'm going to show the contents for this one. So for this I'm not going to use a solid color. Instead I'm going to use a soft color and give them an outline which will have a dotted outline and will show that this is some kind of information that belongs to the main heading which is being shown above. Now you can see that I'm going to reduce its color to a lighter color. So if you're using a dark color, you can also reduce the transparency of the shape, but in this case I just use another different color which is lighter than the main color of the heading. Now I'm trying to connect them, so for that I'm using rectangles. So this rectangle is a smaller size and I've made them into small shape so that they can give a look of a line, because if I use a line doesn't look too good, and also I want to have this line curvature, so that's why I wanted to use this particular rectangle shape as a line. So now these have lines, I'm going to select them and remove the outlines for these ones, and now as you can see that they have a very smooth curvature for the shape, and which also gives a very soft look for the image itself. Now I'm just trying to connect them, so I'm using the same color which it's coming from. For example, if it's coming from the perceive CSR brand fit, I'm going to use the same base color for that shape. So now I'm going to work on the other parts, which is the inside parts for the text. So now for that I'm going to use small rectangle and make it as a bullet. Instead of using conventional bullet, I made this one as a bullet, and I'm going to add a small text in this one. So making these text and bullet points is really easy. You can make them by yourself. You can also use a simple bullet points in the bullet menu, and you can also make for your own. So this is just an example how to make this bullet point and text. So as I use dark color for the lighter color background, so that's why I'm doing like this. So I'm just going to select this one and remove the outline for this shape because it has the outline, and I don't want to have an outline, and I want it to look more plain. I'm just increasing its size to make sure it looks more beautiful, and then I'm going to copy these two by Control Shift and drag. So I'm just going to select all these from here just to save time. So I'm going to copy this one and paste it here. So you can repeat the same thing like I showed you how you can do for one, and then you can copy and paste 3 times or 4 times depending upon your content. So you can put it as many times as you want. And so now once we are done with this one, I'm going to reduce the extra space for the block, and then simply I'm going to copy this shape again and then paste, Control Shift and drag it down for the second shape. So now this part is done, and these parts also have an extra space, so I'm going to reduce the extra space. So now we are going to work on the third part, which is the main heading, which is a sustainability. I cannot read it now for example. So in this case I'm just going to add the text, which is sustainable customer, and it's a customer engagement behavior. So sustainable customer engagement behavior is our second biggest heading, and also has a link with the previous one. So what I did in this case is I try to increase the length a little bit more than the first heading, which is the perceived CSR brand fit. I wanted this text not to be small. If I wanted, I would have reduced the size of the font, but I didn't want that thing. So instead what I did there, I just increased the size a little bit bigger than the previous one, just to show that this is another picture. So that's why I did like that. So now I'm going to give a connection between self-cause integration and self-cause integration also. Actually this was a separate heading, so I just didn't change it. So now as you can see that these have a connection, and I'm just going to represent them with another rectangular line. So now you see one thing. I make one thing and then just copy the same thing and use them for my other parts, because this makes it more easier and also takes less time for formatting. So let's just bring it to the front and then make another one, because there are small headings on the top, which is the green test and the environmental causes or environmental concern. So let's just reduce the size a little bit for the top one and also for the down one. Make sure that you are consistent when both the when you are doing for the both things. Now we are going to change the color, because we have a white background. It will not be visible if you use a white font. So let's just make it red. And now you can see that I want to show that these ones are having a dotted connection, like these ones might not be too important, or these one might not be too relevant. So that's why I did this kind of thing. So you can just use simple shapes and lines, and before that I'm just going to copy this line and make a connection with this block and the sustainable customer section. So I'm just going to go zoom in a little bit and then increase the width or increase the length of that shape from the corner. Once you are done, you can send the shape to the background and you are done. So now I'm going to repeat the same step for the other process, but before that I'm going to increase its width and also give it a white color and dotted and dashed lines. I'm going to use one level because this looks more good than the one with more gaps. So I'm just going to use connection simple line. Just connect, just hold on the click button, click on that shape, and then you can easily connect that. So one way is that you do it individually. Okay, then other ways I'm going to show you is that you can use a format painter. So once I'm going to connect them, I'm going to show you how you can do that by just using format painter. So for example, if you want to format this one, so just go to home, click on format painter and select the line which you want to be formatted. Now again format painter and then select this one and you're all done. So now notice one thing, that the distance between the top and the bottom all are equal and consistent. They have the same distance and same everything from the top. So make sure that you are consistent. That's the key to make a beautiful diagram, and that's how you can do it. I'm just trying to be as neutral and as balanced as I can to make sure that they have equal spaces on the left hand side, on the right hand side, on the top and the bottom. So now this part has two equations or three equations or three subterms, so I'm just making a small block which shows the inside or the subcategories for any main heading. So that's why I'm using a small this blue category. I'm not going to change the text in this one because they're going to be, this is a sample image, so you can change whenever you want. You are making your own diagrams, so this is just for example, so that's why I'm just using sample text for the reference. So now just two sections are left, which is our small connection which are connected with the sustainable customer section. So I'm just going to copy again a subheading and I'm going to paste it here. But this time this our second headings are a little bit bigger in text, so what I will do is I will increase the length a little bit, but I will keep the consistency by keeping both of them on the same equal size. So now you can see that this one is a little bit bigger in size, so I will give them a different color first, then I will increase its height and width. So now as you can see, the font is a little bit smaller in this case, so I'm going to reduce the font here also and just make it 18 and consistent. So I'm just going to reduce the length and the width and just change the spelling like this one. So now you can see that the right hand side of the shape is aligned with the shape shown in the above picture. Now I'm adding another text for my second category, and in this one, as you can see, it's a little bit bigger. So in order to manage that, I increase the length so that they can have a justified and they can have more space to breathe. For that, I'm going to conclude this image with another supporting text, which is the subheading for the main heading for the customer citizenship behavior. So now the last part, which is the shape or the content for this particular shape. So now as you can see that these are all grouped images, so I'm just going to ungroup them for my convenience now, because I'm going to change the arrangement of the shapes in this one. So this one is also grouped. I'm going to ungroup them so that they can be adjusted manually by one. So I'm going to select this shape and going to move it to the left hand side, similarly this one, and I'm going to make this shape this text. I'm going to change this text to another text just for the reference that how you can change the group images or group objects into a different object. And similarly, I'm going to find another supporting text which I will paste in this one. I will change its alignment to the left hand side and then move it a little bit so that it can be adjacent with the one shown in the top picture. So now everything is done. I'm going to drag it down to bring it in the middle, but this time it's too big, too small. So I'm going to increase this length so that it can be justified and doesn't look too small in comparison to the one used in the top part. So now this part is done. I'm going to select all them and try to move them to the top part, and after it's done, I'm going to send it to the back so that it can be justified and it can look more beautiful. So I'm going to send it to the back. Now I'm going to select it and change its outline color with the one with the heading that is being used. So now this is the diagram and this is done and completed. I use a different background for my editing so that I can edit in more easier and more convenient way. I tend to use different colors, which is more convenient and which helps me look into the picture or diagram more easily and help me focus more better. So you can also use different colors and different gradients, and like you can see right now, I'm just making small connections with the images, with the shapes and the shapes that are being used, and just trying to make a relationship between them so that they can show that they are connected. And after that, you can just send them to the back so that they don't appear on the top and they don't distort the image. So we are done. So all these images are done. I'm just going to show you some variations. I'm just going to copy them and paste them here. Now you can see that the environmental concern is not too prominent, so I'm just going to change its color and change this color to a different color and see how it looks. I'm just going to use a little bit dark brown color, and as you can see that this has a different variation and different perspective. So you can also use these white colors, and with white colors you can also use different colors just to show that how they look. I'll just change the background color, go into design and format background, and I'm going to give them a different color so that you can see that how this image will look with a different background. So when I tend to use colors, I tend to use the colors which will work with most of the time with any kind of background, because when you are going to change a color, when you are going to change a background color, you can easily play, or you can easily change any color that you want for your diagrams. So this is how you make a connectivity diagram by using simple tools in Microsoft PowerPoint in really easy and convenient way. Go watch my previous infographic videos, they might help you a lot. And if you have any suggestions or any comments, do leave your comments down below in the comment section, and I will get back to you soon. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.